Let me know when to go.
Go.
I'm speaking to you today from my home, which sits in the middle of an evergreen forest. I like being home at this time of year because the green woods here make me feel somehow better about this dark time of year when all the other leaves are being stripped away. I'm also wearing the traditional colors of Christmas with the dark green shirt and my red scarf because my message today, while not exactly a Christmas sermon, actually has a lot to do with Christmas. First, though, I want to tell you a little bit about my dad and my oldest daughter, Maddie. Now, they are best buds and just two peas in a pod. They are also both big talkers and thinkers. No one can get a word in when the two of them are together. They also like to challenge systems and traditions. Recently, they both asked me a question, separately and about two different things. But my answers to them actually have a lot in common. Maddie is a tattoo artist and a grad student, and she's in the process of trying to book enough tattoos to buy airfare for her and her girlfriend to come back here for Christmas. On the phone with her a few days ago, she complained to me about the prices of the airfare, and she said, "Why do we have to come home now? Like, I don't understand why it has to be now. Most of us, we don't even believe Jesus is all that much more important than anyone else. Why now? Why not in April or September, some nice warm month?" I understood her question, but after talking with her about it for a little bit, she acknowledged that the truth is she would feel sad if she stayed behind and didn't come. She does feel the call to gather at this time of year. For some reason, it just feels important. Even though it's dark and cold, even though the plane tickets are high, the togetherness felt vital to her, even though her reason railed against it. Now, my dad's question was about something else entirely. He has been coming to my internship site's worship services from the comfort of his armchair quite religiously. He was raised Southern Baptist and is now part Buddhist, part loosely Christian, and he has plenty of opinions about Unitarian Universalism. He gets confused about it sometimes. He says things to me like, "So, you don't have any one sacred text, and there's no one telling you how to behave?" I tell him, "No, only our inner ethical compass, Dad, along with wisdom from whatever path we choose. And if you don't go to church or you don't believe in the same thing, you still don't think God will send you to hell? Many of us don't believe in God, and most of us don't believe in hell. But even if we did, those things wouldn't be a problem." Now, the next question that he asked is one that really got me thinking, and it feels relevant to my message today. He said to me, "So, why do you even go on Sundays at all? Why bother when you can just stay home and watch CBS Sunday Morning or go to brunch?" These are both things that he knows that I love. I mean, what's the point? Not even worshiping anything in particular. Why show up? Why show up? Why gather at all? Why bother? Why wake up early to meet for just a couple of hours when we could be sleeping or brunching instead? Why gather in the darkest time of the year when plane flights would be much cheaper and the weather would be much warmer in April? What calls us to make these choices about how and when and where we gather? Truly, why do we bother? Now, the existentialist in me wants to be a smartass and say that we bother simply because life is meaningless, we all die eventually, and so the only sane thing to do is to find whatever small sparks of joy we can find. And to be honest, I think that's a very big reality about why we gather. But I want to go back to to Maddie's question first about why we gather specifically in the holidays. Many of the world's faiths have sacred gatherings at this time of year. Though I've been raised culturally Christian, the winter holiday that truly fills my spirit is actually Yule, or winter solstice. For me, the celebration of the solstice gets to the heart of what we all yearn for, what we all need when it's so dark and cold. Yule festivities, which have been practiced for hundreds of years, often involve decorating with evergreen boughs to remind us that spring will come again. We light candles to symbolize the sun's return. We decorate a live tree with edible ornaments for birds and other animals. We burn a Yule log inside to keep us warm and remind us that the light will return, and that until then, we can be light to each other. All of these traditions, of course, got folded into the Christian celebration of Christmas, but I like the simple honesty of the pagan practice. We do these holy days because it's dark and it's cold, and it's honestly a little scary without each other. We need the gifts of each other. We need the gifts of our togetherness. There's a very real and specific reason why we gather in these dark and cold times. We need Yule and Christmas just to get through to the daffodils of early March. In Priya Parker's book, The Art of Gathering, she says that specificity is important if we want our gatherings. We're going to have to pause just for a moment to let the dogs out. Beatrice, you stay right there.
Okay, you go.
Stay right there. I'm going to go.
Hi guys, I'm Beatrice.
Go.
We have 200 animals.
Okay. In Priya Parker's book, The Art of Gathering, she says that specificity is important if we want our gatherings to crackle and sparkle with purpose and meaning. She says that there are all kinds of reasons for gathering. To solve problems, to celebrate, to legislate, to mourn, to build community, and on and on. But, she says, there are so many good reasons for gathering that sometimes, if we don't know exactly why we gather, and that lack of specificity of purpose, that can lead to what my dad thinks Unitarian Universalism is. Just a place to see people and have a cup of coffee for a bit. Nothing that's so vital that we want to give up brunch and CBS Sunday morning for. So, why do we gather? We have no sacred text, no fear of damnation, no requirement that feels pressing. Is it only companionship and community that we want? If so, why not brunch with friends? Why not a pickleball team? For me, at the heart of Unitarian Universalism is the quote, supposedly said by Socrates, that the unexamined life is not worth living. And going a step further, I believe that we do that better in a community that's dedicated to doing the work of an examined life in a system of togetherness. Being a UU is all about commitment to me, which is why one of my favorite hymns is The Fire of Commitment, which talks about commitment as a fire that burns inside us, spurring us to action. I commit to the work of self-examination. I commit to the work of growing and learning and unlearning. I commit to anti-racism and anti-oppression work, both within and without. I commit to that free and responsible search for truth and meaning. I commit to my own becoming. And what's more, as part of this faith movement, I commit to being with you in this work as well. Yes, it's true that on some level, we gather simply because it's often joyful, and because potlucks are fun, and because it's good to be with like-minded people, especially now. But we also come together to witness each other, to sharpen each other, to reflect each other, to learn together and work together in our own becoming. Meaning is often easier to see when we look for it together. We are simply better together. Secondly, I believe that our coming together serves the world. Alone, we are much less powerful than we are together. I mean, the raw energy that is a group of purposeful church ladies is enough to move mountains. A single really good sermon can change hearts. A dedicated religious education teacher can fight oppression by helping their students see it in the world. A youth group can be a lifeline. A handful of UUs protesting anti-trans legislation together can make trans kids feel seen and valued. A group of dedicated UUs working at a local food pantry can feed hundreds. No matter where we gather, we invite change. We center love. And that, my friends, is truly revolutionary. And finally, just like gathering for Christmas at such a dark and cold time of year, we gather in our congregations because the world often feels harsh and cold and lonely and dark. When we come together, even in spite of all of that, our own light is a beacon to see us through. When we gather, we are telling each other that we are not alone, and we will walk this path together. The light of us is the Yule log. We are the evergreens. We are the candles in the dark. We are part of what the world needs to get to the other side, to see the beauty and the hope and the promise. I want to leave you with the lyrics from the chorus of Fire of Commitment, which feels like a call to action to me. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment, and the future can begin. This is why we gather. This commitment, this hope of us in togetherness, this is why we gather. We are the Yule log. We are the evergreens, and we are the candles in the dark. Amen. Merry Christmas and blessed solstice.